My name is Cameron, and I went to Hudson Way from preschool all the way till 5th grade. And then after that, I went to Newark Academy from 6th grade, and I just graduated earlier this year. And my plans for the fall are that I'm going to be a freshman at MIT. I took Spanish at Hudson Way, and then in high school I took French, and it definitely helped a lot with that. Just like learning another language when I was younger, it made it a lot easier to learn new languages when as I got older. But it didn't only help with languages. I feel like just the education I got there, it really helped in a lot of different subjects, including definitely math and science too. There's a lot of that sort of stuff I did at Hudson Way. I did a lot of really interesting science fairs. Like one time I made a hovercraft, like I think in the 4th grade, I made a hovercraft with a leaf blower, and it actually worked. Like you can ride down the street on it, which is, it was a really fun project. And a lot of different things like that is what I feel like kind of led me to what I want to do in college, which is I actually plan on majoring in either comp sci or mechanical engineering at MIT. So I definitely feel like what I learned at Hudson Way has helped me a lot. The math I learned at Hudson Way really prepared me for Newark Academy. Like when I went to Newark Academy, the math was not that hard. I mean, it was like sixth grade math. I don't think it was too hard really. I did pretty well on that. And I feel like just because of like how few students there are compared to like teachers, like that ratio, like I felt like I got a lot of attention and focus in all the subjects, including math, which is what really allowed me to, I think, excel in math and kind of allowed me to have that strong base to build upon. Well, I took, like I was mentioning before, I took Spanish at Hudson Way, and my Spanish was actually so good by the time I graduated that when I took the placement test at Newark Academy, they were going to put me, like my options were take a new language or take Spanish with like 11th graders in Spanish 3 honors, I believe, which is like what you take your junior year. And I was a 6th grader. So that's why, and my parents really wanted me to be able to speak 3 languages. So that's why I ended up taking French. And in college, I think I might take Spanish again, just because honestly, I like Spanish a little more. But yeah, I definitely have plans to continue with languages. Being able to speak multiple different languages was definitely helpful for robotics. I competed in VEX Robotics, and in VEX, there's a teamwork aspect, which is where you're paired with another robot and you're competing against another 2 robots. So you definitely need to be able to communicate well with whoever you're partnered with. And because we've qualified for Worlds multiple times, there's been a few different instances where speaking different languages has definitely been helpful. Like there's this one team, I don't exactly remember which country they're from, but they only spoke Spanish. And I was able to still communicate with them while I was driving in Spanish, and we were able to win the match. So it's definitely been helpful in a lot of other aspects as well. I also worked with this organization where I would tutor kids who really they just weren't doing too well in school, and a lot of these kids, they were struggling at home, or they had like immigrant parents or something, so their English was kind of struggling, and their parents couldn't afford to like pay for actual tutors. So I would volunteer for that and then just help them out. And actually, that's another time when the languages I learned at Hudson Way really helped, because a lot of the kids, their parents were immigrants who like really mostly spoke Spanish, and so a lot of the time, like the kids' first language is Spanish, and their second language they're learning is English. And being able to speak Spanish to them definitely helped me like connect with them and explain concepts in English more easily. I applied to all the Ivy Leagues, and I got into all of them but Dartmouth. And as someone who, did pretty well with the college admission stuff, what I would say is what matters the most is continued interest in extracurriculars. Because obviously, like for any of these really good schools, you already have to have like almost perfect grades, like that's like a given. But what makes you stand out is the extracurriculars.